What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to check out the second half of the class balancing adjustments made in ROX Global. I know that I've mentioned in my previous video that I will be uploading this yesterday. However, I was experiencing an intermittent internet connection because of the typhoon. But since it has passed, my connection problem has been resolved. But anyway, let's start off with the Thief class. The first change or adjustment that was made for the Thief is for the hiding skill. The variable cooldown of this skill has been reduced to 10 seconds at the highest level. For the Assassin class, the Green Tooth now deals a weapon attribute damage instead of a neutral element. For the Sonic Blow, they have reduced the variable cooldown of this skill to 15 seconds at the highest level. Moving on to the Assassin Cross, they have added a new effect where the strength bonus on the skill damage is increased by up to 200% when using the Enchant Deadly Poison skill. That is quite huge, and this makes the Assassin even more dangerous in both the PvE and PvP aspects of the game, as they can now deal an even bigger burst damage to an enemy. For the Meteor Assault, Mirror Image, and Soul Destroyer skills, these skills now deal weapon attribute damage instead of the neutral elemental damage. Now, in my opinion, these changes made to the Assassin are quite strong, especially now that the skills can use any elemental weapon attribute damage, as compared to before, where their damage will only be attributed to the neutral element. Moving on to the Mobster or Rogue class, they have added a new effect for the Dagger Mastery, which gains physical attack equal to 80% every level from the Dexterity stat. This means that when you are playing a dagger build for this class, your main stat is going to be the Dexterity stat instead of the Strength. For the Assault skill, they changed the possibility of landing a critical hit when using this skill. Instead, you can now deal a double damage to the target. Up next is the Stalker class. For the Reject Sword, the damage reflection coefficient has been increased from 2% up to 10% every level. That is quite a huge leap for this skill, so I'm guessing we might see more dagger players for the Stalker class moving forward. For the Strip Armor and Accessory, if the target is more than 4 meters away during the casting of this skill, the strip will not fail. They have also adjusted the calculation method of this skill, and the strip skill debuff cannot be removed by the Panacea item. The changes or the adjustments that they have made for the Rogue class are quite good, and these are buffs to make this class a lot more viable in the game, because to be honest, I don't really see a lot of dagger builds for the Rogue class, so maybe these adjustments might change that moving forward. Unfortunately, we didn't get any adjustments or buffs for the Longbow Rogue build. I guess from their POV, the Longbow Rogue is pretty balanced as of the moment. But anyway, moving on to the next class on our list, and this is the poster child of ROX Global. This is the Archer class. For the Vulture's Eye, they made an optimization with the skill, wherein if there are no enemies within 4 meters of the Archer, the damage will be increased. However, their damage will also decrease if there is at least one enemy within a 4-meter radius. This means that archers need to position themselves correctly in order to fully maximize the damage increase for this skill. Moving on to the Hunter class, the Falcon Mastery skill has been adjusted. The probability of the Falcon to attack has been adjusted to a fixed 15% chance, and it will no longer increase or be affected by the luck bonus. So this is a big nerf for this class, because now, the chances of the Falcon to attack has been fixed to a certain value, as compared to before where you can increase that value by adding more luck. Furthermore, they have also removed the bonus effect of the Beastbane skill from the Dexterity stat. These are quite the nerf that has been made for the Archer class. Moving on to the Sniper class, for the Wild Awakening skill, The int bonus on the Steel Crow has been increased from 5% up to 10% every level. However, the Falcon attack probability bonus has been reduced from 10% down to 1 every level. For the True Sight, they have added a new effect which increases the sniper's final physical penetration by an additional 3% every level. Overall, I think they really made some big changes to the Archer class. Although, they have increased the int bonus from the Steel Crow and have added an increase in physical penetration, but I feel like the probability reduction of the Falcon to attack is quite a huge nerf. Moving on to the Bard class, the musical lesson skill gets a buff where the physical attack conversion coefficient has been increased from 40% up to 50% every level. However, they removed the movement speed bonus when performing this skill. For the Arrow Vulcan, the skill damage bonus has been increased every level. The maximum value for each stack of max SP reduction is now at 20%. However, the max SP reduction can now be removed by the Panacea item. Moving on to its counterpart, which is the Dancer class. For the dancing lesson skill, similar to what they did with the Bard, the physical attack conversion coefficient has been increased from 20% up to 50% every level. I mean bro, that's an insanely huge upgrade for this class. However, the movement speed bonus during the skill's performance has been removed. For the Arrow Vulcan, the skill damage bonus has also been increased and the vitality reduction can now be removed by the Panacea item. For the Bard and Dancer class, these changes will really make these two jobs a lot stronger, especially when it comes to dealing massive amounts of damage in PvE and PvP. And finally, moving on to the final class on the list, and this is for the Merchant class. For the Blacksmith, the Hammerfall now deals a weapon attribute damage instead of a neutral elemental damage. For the Whitesmith class, the Zenny utility's strength requirement for each damage bonus has been reduced from 85 down to 55, and they have added a new effect where the strength bonus on this skill can now increase up to 150%. For the Hurl Zenny skill, the casting range has been increased from 8 meters up to 10. The fixed cooldown time has also been reduced from 5 seconds down to 3, and the skill now has a 50% fixed chance to deal double damage to the target instead of landing a critical hit. For the Mammonite skills 1 and 2 in the Shadow equipment, the damage coefficient bonus has been increased from 5% to 15% and 10% to 30% respectively. Wow, these are huge upgrades for the Blacksmith class. Moving on to its other variant, which is the Alchemist class. For the Axe Mastery, this passive skill will now only work for axe weapons. I mean, that's the name of the skill. Of course, that is how this skill should work. In addition to that, the Instat now provides a bonus where the physical attack coefficient will now be increased from 5% to 50% every level. For the Gene upgrade, this is also similar to the changes that they have made for the Axe Mastery skill, where the physical attack coefficient will now increase from 5% to 50% every level. For the Call Homunculus skill, the fixed cooldown has been reduced from 60 seconds down to 30, and for the Homunculus upgrade, they have added a new effect, where the Homunculus gains 2% final damage reduction for every level. Overall, this class has received a huge buff, especially when it comes to its damage coefficient. For the second batch of jobs that were a part of the class adjustment, the only class that really got a big time nerf was the Archer class. So the big question is, are we going to see a meta shift moving forward? Or are the Archers still the cream of the crop when it comes to the best DPS in ROX Global? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, and if you want to see more ROX content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. GG!
You're a superhero.